let's get on. We're going to finish up this lecture with structure and then just some general tips. Now, for structure, you kind of want to follow this pattern. You want one body paragraph for each contribution or specific aspect or specific ethical teaching. I really don't recommend doing like multiple ethical teachings in one paragraph. Just split it up. Split it up for your short answers, for your even your essays. Don't well, unless the essay question is asking, like if the essay question is asking for um like multiple and it's an integrated question and it wants your practice and it wants your ethical teachings, fair enough if you need to pair two together. But for especially for your short answers, just separating them is just so important. Each paragraph should have a new point, and you should be losing at least two quotes which are from your sacred text. If you're doing Christianity, it's Bible or a church statement, for example, just kind of mixing it up. You don't have to use the Bible every single time. You can use quotes from important figures. The topic sentence does have to relate to a main idea, and you want to finish every paragraph pretty conclusively, where you have some final judgment or summary. But it's just really important, and these are the most important things that you do in your response to just stand out to get that band 6, is to link it to the impact of the modern day religion and the contribution to the development and expression. And a lot of the times that'll be in the question. So this is kind of stuff that you can prepare and do some practice work on. The prescribed practice to significance and better connection, and the teaching of contemporary issues. So if you are talking about when you are looking at the ethical teachings, or whether you're doing environmental ethics or bioethics or whichever dash you're doing, it's so important to link it to contemporary issues. Personally, I did environmental ethical teachings, and we did that across all three of our depth studies. And I just had animal rights, what else? Global warming, and just had a couple contemporary issues, and then had ways that adherents could fight those by using their faith as a guide in their beliefs. So roughly you want to follow this pattern. I put this one in case any of you are studying this significant person in Islam. But it's just really got the structure where, again, with significant person as well, it is not a Wikipedia slab. It's really important to remember that it's not just like this biological slab and they don't actually care that much. Definitely have the year they were born and the year that they passed away, just like this. And if you are going to bring up something, make sure that you're linking it to your point. So here we've got, during Shafi's time, there were two conflicting schools of Islamic jurisprudence, and he used the qiyas for decision making, and the school which used the Quran and Hadith. So that's linking his contextual and his background to the point that you're making, and then the quote that you've got from the Quran. So everything just has to link. Like in saying that, I just mean don't just kind of like name drop random biological facts. It's just not necessary, and it won't get you these marks. You definitely do need like their birth and their death date, and I think 1 to 2 kind of contextual facts, but only if they are linking back to it. This is a significant practice paragraph. So if you guys we're looking at weekend worship, this is an example. It's got the quotes, it's got the analysis. Yeah, pretty good topic sentence to go straight into it. I honestly feel like you can low-key use Peel. I feel like SOR is really just English, except you're doing you've got like the memorized religious content, but otherwise the writing style and your structure is very similar, and you want it to be really concise and really apply. Like you've got your topic sentence, you got your link, you're linking back to the question. It really is that way. If you guys did need a quote, I really recommend, honestly, if you are doing Christianity, I recommend Matthew 28-19, which is baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son of the Holy Spirit, only because that also overlaps with the principal belief of the Trinity from year 11, which is a good point to bring up. And if you did want to get some brownie points in SOR, bring up some of the principal beliefs if you remember any, and if it's useful and if it connects to the to your point. But even here, they're talking about how it reflects the belief of the divinity and humanity of Jesus Christ through the weekend worship, which is a principal belief, which is just chef's kiss. We just want to impress our markers as much as possible. Now, in terms of note structure, it's really up to you what you want to do for your notes. I know that this is a popular method and kind of be like, okay, this is the point, this is like my individual, this is the practice I'm going to focus on, this is the quote, this is like my modern interpretation of it, and this is how I'm going to link it. Personally, though, for me, what was working best was just kind of having all my notes and then practice questions. I didn't, like I said, I didn't really sit many questions and many papers in full. I really recommend that you do at least one full paper before going into the SOR exam, just for your own security and for your own timing, just so you know that you can finish, because you don't want to lose easy marks because you didn't get to finish half the essay because you didn't try to practice like writing out an essay and sitting the paper in full. But it's up to you how many you want to do. I think just before trials, 100% do one. Um, and in terms of your notes should just really be a guide. Um, but you're like the best study you're gonna get in SOR is from doing past questions. And it's not because it's not as much, I feel like, in other subjects, like in every subject past papers are gonna be like number one, like best study technique to use. But in SOR, and I feel like compared to other subjects are very big on application. I think if you were to compare, for example, biology and SOR is much more in memorizing, and you can get more marks and get away with memorizing rather than having really good application skills. While biology, you could memorize everything, but if you don't understand it and you can't apply that knowledge to what the question's asking you, it doesn't matter that you've memorized it. Like, it's not going to do you any justice. That's the benefit of SOR, which is that even when you've memorized it, in terms of applying it and the actual application, it really only comes in with structure. Um, so I'm hoping and I'm sure that a lot of you guys are achieving pretty well in SOR, and if not, I promise you, a little bit more study for trials will help get you there.